is up, guys? Today I'm filming another podcast episode. To be honest, I don't really know if this is going to be posted because this is kind of on the personal side, and I just feel like I need to vent a little bit because I don't have therapy for the next 2 weeks because she's going to be booked and she couldn't find time to squeeze me in, so I'm just kind of stuck with my thoughts. So if you're new, subscribe, like this video, comment, check out my other videos if you haven't already. I've been really active, so you're trying to post vacations, all that good stuff. Check out my other videos and check out my podcast. It's also available on Spotify if you don't want to watch it on YouTube. And yeah, so tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and every time around the holidays like this, I get really anxious because of my upbringing. My father has made, what is it called? Holidays very hard, birthdays very hard, because he kind of makes it like a hostage situation. And every time I think of Thanksgiving, I think about that one Thanksgiving that we spent at home instead of my grandma's house. And it was the most traumatic situation ever because he, I think I was like 10, 11 years old. And, my dad was upstairs sleeping as my mom was cooking, and I was helping here and there. And then since he was sleeping, my brother, my mom, and I decided to eat without him. Then he found out that we ate without him, and he was pretty mad about that because it's technically supposed to be with your family, like your whole family, but he was asleep upstairs. So it was like we didn't want to wake him up and say, hey, the food's ready, because he's grumpy all the time. So we basically had to just sit around and watch him eat until he was satisfied. And I remember crying at the table, just wanting to go lay down because it was very late. And my mom had us on a strict bedtime schedule. And my mom was like, the kids need to go to sleep. It's late. And he's just like, well, I want to eat my food. You guys ate without me. So every time Thanksgiving comes around, I think about those type of situations because Thanksgiving is supposed to be fun, but I don't feel like it's fun for me. Also, even though my father moved out, the house still is very strained. And it's not because, oh, we missed my dad living here. Fuck no. It's the fact that I think my brother is low-key turning into him. And my dad is a diagnosed narcissist, pretty much. And I'm noticing, ever since my father moved out, I'm noticing a lot more that he has a lot of his mannerisms, and they're not good traits. Like, there's no good traits in my father, to be honest with you. So it's been putting a lot of strain on us personally because it's frustrating because he's just very miserable all the time. And it's hard to get any type of conversation out of him. My mom can barely even ask him how his day is without him rolling his eyes and ignoring us. And I find it really upsetting that even when my mom tells my family this side of the story about what's been going on in the house, they're just like, well, it's your fault. And they don't care to think about how we feel about the situation. We're the ones living with him, so we're the ones getting treated like shit. I can name so many things that he's done, and people are probably not going to believe me, but it's generally getting exhausting. I'm getting exhausted, and since my mom is having a lot of issues with my brother, it's putting me in the middle because she tells me how she feels about him and what he's been doing that's upsetting her, and it puts me in the middle a lot because I already have my issues with him, We've been strained since I was in high school. And I will say that's on me. And I will get into that in a little bit. But I don't know what happened between my mom and my brother. Like, something switched when my dad moved out. And it just seemed like he just despises her. Like, all the time. Like, he hates that she's even alive. And I just feel like he doesn't understand because he doesn't see it from our point of view. So whenever my mom is like, I want to fix us, I want to fix our relationship, I don't know why you hate me. I don't think people understand how upsetting that is to hear. And for people to be like, it's your mom's fault that your brother and her are strained. I don't think you'll understand how many times she's tried to plead with him to work on their relationship, because they used to be very close. Actually, all three of us used to be really close for a very long time. And ever since we moved here, I just feel like the family just fell apart. I don't miss my dad at all. There's nothing to miss. But I thought that, like, when he moved out, that we would just all go back to, like, the old times when we were, like, super happy and giggly and just all that stuff. But it never happened. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And it just never came. And I don't think we're gonna get that nostalgic feeling back. I don't think we're all gonna be close anymore like that, because my brother has pretty much disconnected from us completely. Even though he lives in the same house, he kind of treats us like we're a burden a lot. And I don't think he understands how much that's really, like, how rude it is to live like that. And I've talked about it in therapy a few times, because one of the reasons why I even started therapy was because we were having a lot of family issues and I needed an outlet. I didn't want to go on TikTok and talk about it because I know that people are going to misconstrue what I say, because they do that a lot. And it gets really frustrating because there has been times where I've talked about my feelings and like, some people are really nice about it, but I don't want to turn my TikToks into a trauma dumping diary again, because I just really want to move on from that, because honestly, not everyone on TikTok is very nice. So, I went to therapy for that. But since I don't get to see her at my normal days, it's been kind of messing me up, because it's a scheduled thing, but also I get a lot of things done, because when I do see her, I kind of procrastinate a lot when the time comes, and I start getting kind of anxious about it, because I do try to act like I don't have any issues, but I do have a lot of things that bother me. And I don't really want to, like, tell my mom everything, because she has a lot going on and she tells me every little thing that she's worried about. And I don't want to tell her what is upsetting me, because I don't want to worry her more. But living in this house has been a lot lately, because there's been several situations with my brother that I just can't really get over. Like, he cussed out my mom the other day because he asked for money and he was late coming home. And my mom noticed that he came home and didn't even use the Uber like he said he was. And then immediately I was like, oh shit, he's probably gonna use it for for Uber Eats. Because sometimes he will ask my mom for money and say it's for something and then use it for something else. And pretty much he lies a lot is what I'm trying to say. And he's been having this lying problem since he was a little kid. It started very small, and then as he got older, I kind of noticed that it started getting worse. And I was like, why does he keep lying about weird things? And he got mad at my mom for taking back the money, and he cussed her out over it when he got home. I think their relationship is a lot more deeper than me and his, like, when it comes to like the issues, because I feel like they have more issues. They kind of clash. Well, my mom doesn't really try to clash with him. She tries to reason with him a lot, and she tries to be understanding, and I'm noticing that that approach is not working anymore because he still will lie and make up things and get really rude. And the biggest issue, I think, is the lying and the him being rude to us for no reason. Like, I don't even like saying hi to him. I don't like saying good morning to him. And because he just gets so annoyed by everything, and it gets irritating to feel this sense of rejection from him. I'm not going to keep following him and being like, oh my God, talk to me, because it's exhausting. I've tried rekindling our relationship years ago, and it didn't go anywhere. I think generally, I think we fell off when I was in high school. And I don't think people really understood from my point of view, but I'm just gonna explain it. So we were living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was technically supposed to be a temporary situation. We were supposed to live there for a year, but we ended up living there for like 5-7 years. And it was supposed to be like live there for a year and then transition to a house. We ended up staying there way too long. And I was growing really frustrated because at this time I was a teenager. I wanted my own space. I just wanted somewhere to like cry and deal with my feelings instead of having someone in the room and having to like shut my feelings off, because I don't want people being like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? I just want to like deal with my feelings by myself for a little bit. I don't want to have like people there, you know? But my brother was like 11 or so when we moved there. And so we were sharing a room. And I constantly was bitching to my mom about it, about how we were, like, I was tired of sharing a room. And it's awkward because my body is like a grown woman body pretty much. And he's still a kid. And I wanted privacy. I was getting tired of changing in the bathroom. Like, that just seems like hotel shit, you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to change in my room. I just wanted privacy. So I was getting frustrated. And my mom would be like, oh, we'll have like this system where you can have privacy and do whatever for like 6 hours. And it was like throughout the week. He would have a turn, I would have a turn. And you know, but the thing is, like, before that system happened, I was just like kind of taking my frustrations out on him and getting really frustrated with him. But there were times where I would try to sleep and he would try to game all night, and I would be like, yo, can you not? Because like he would type really aggressively on his computer and it would trigger the fuck out of me. And I think that's honestly why I have misophonia, because I got really triggered by that sound in that apartment, because he would play games all freaking day. And I would try to tune it out with music. I would try to do everything in my power to ignore the sound, but it was driving me absolutely insane to hear that. You know what I mean? I wanted him to be happy, but I was also a very moody teenager. I was getting bullied relentlessly at school, and I was also getting beat up by dudes at school for no reason. And so I was going through a lot. He was going through a lot. But I was taking it out on him. And I don't feel like that's appropriate, but honestly, I just felt like no one understood where I was coming from because I was the only teenager in the house. And so I just wanted privacy like every other teenager. And I was jealous of people that had like their own rooms because I went to two of my classmates' houses in high school, and they had houses, and I was like so jealous because they had like their own rooms and stuff like that. It wasn't for two teenagers and a dog and two guinea pigs and a lizard and two grown adults. It was just not made for us for long term. It was something temporary, and I was outgrowing that place before I even got a chance to really like enjoy it. Like, it was a beautiful scenery. There was like health food stores down the street, so it was like walking distance. Like a lot of the places there were walking distance. Like here, there's not really a lot of walking. This place is not walking city friendly. Walks, I don't know how to call it, but yeah, that's what I mean. But it's just frustrating, honestly, because if we lived there for a year, I think that me and him would have never been strained, and I think we would have been cool, I think, honestly. But I do catch myself looking at old pictures and getting kind of sad because I'm just like, we used to be like really close, like this close, like best friends. And my mom always brings it up. You guys used to be so close. What happened? And I really thought that since I became an adult and he became an adult, I thought it was going to be cool. And I thought we can like start over. And I tried. I don't think he wants any parts of me. I don't think he like cares for me in that way. I don't think he wants like, I don't think he cares about me. So it was upsetting because I have a lot of good memories with him when I was younger. Like, I remember one time where the movie Flushed Away came out, and there was this part where the rats, or whatever they were called, had this handshake, and they would spit in each other's hands, and then they would do the handshake. So we saw it from the movie. We spit on each other's, like we spit on our hands, and we did the same handshake. Those are weird things that I remember. I remember jumping on the bed, and me and him had our own secret language that sounded like a little bit of Spanish, but also gibberish. I remember getting up with my mom at like 2 a.m. and running through the sprinklers. I remember all of us baking and cooking together. I remember all the game nights. There was a lot of good memories that I had, but I just don't think it's gonna happen again, which is upsetting. And I don't think people understand about strained sibling relationships. I feel like my mom's dying wish will probably be like, I want y'all to be close again. I don't think it's gonna happen. And it's not gonna happen if it's just me trying to work on it and he doesn't want to work on it. It's kind of like a lost cause because he doesn't want to work on anything. So it is upsetting because tomorrow I'm going to have to pretend to be happy and act like it's the most funnest day ever because it's Thanksgiving. But deep down, I'm going to be depressed because I know it's not going to be like the same. Like how it was before. It's just upsetting. Like, I don't really know what happened. I know what happened between us, but I really don't know what happened to my mom and my brother. It just seemed like overnight he just kind of hated her. And I don't know how he could have hated her if she's given him everything that he's ever wanted. She's always been there for him, for every little situation he's had. She was always there for him, physically. I don't understand why he would hate her. And that's what I don't understand. Like, what happened between them two? And maybe it's just for something I just am not able to understand unless he says it. But even if you do ask him, he like downplays it and he's like, oh, like we're fine. But clearly we're all not fine if every time we try to interact with you, you roll your eyes and shit. Or you act annoyed. And then every time we talk to you, it's like pulling teeth. Like 2 years ago, I remember my mom and I were going on a trip out of state. I left this very long list on what to do with how to take care of the animals because it was his first time being left alone with all the animals. And I didn't think he could do it. I didn't think he was responsible for it because he honestly is very lazy. And so my mom looks at me to help out a lot, which I don't mind it, but also sometimes it's a lot. You know what I mean? It gets kind of exhausting. So then I gave him the list and I was like, hey, this is a list of things that I want you to do while we're gone. It was only for 2 days, by the way. A couple hours later, I noticed that he ripped up the list that I had made him and he threw it in the trash. And I saw it on the top of his trash. And I was like, great. My guinea pigs are going to be starving when I'm gone. So what I had to do was buy these really big food dispensers from PetSmart. My mom gave my dogs an automatic feeder, and I had to put like multiple water bottles in the thing so they wouldn't run out. The fact that we even had to do that is kind of crazy. And he's not a kid, he's a full-grown adult. So he was completely capable of doing this. He just didn't want to. And if I came home and one of my guinea pigs was dead, I would have been upset. I would have been really upset, and I probably would have never forgave him because I gave him very descriptive things to do. And the fact that he threw him out the same day I gave it to him was actually crazy. But again, my family's just going to believe him all the time because he's the man, he's the boy. So for some reason, like my mom's side of the family, they believe the dudes more than the girls. And it kind of is like that with my dad's side of the family too. Like they treat the dudes better than the girls. And I don't understand why. Because I've talked about getting abused by my father and I posted about it on my YouTube and it was spread around his family because I was just so fed up. I was just getting so tired of it. And I didn't have friends. So my only outlet was the internet. And I was like 19, 20 years old. And I normally post vlogs at that time. And for me to post that was kind of brave. And sometimes I wish I didn't delete it because I would have loved to watch it again to see if I would get re-triggered, to see if I'm somewhat healed. But I purposely kind of posted that because I wanted his family to know that he has not changed. He has not changed. Even to this day, he has not changed. He's still the same person. And speaking of him, he freaking tried to do one of his unscheduled visits that he does. And that's another reason why I dread it, because since he's moved out, he would do these very unscheduled visits. And normally it's around the holidays or around someone's birthday. And it gets really irritating because, like, you could look forward to that day and then you remember, oh, he's gonna come over and ruin it and give you cheap gifts and hold you hostage for a conversation that you don't want to be a part of. So he was getting his package and I heard the doorbell ring. So I was like, normally my first instinct is to look at the Alexa thing to see who was outside, because I'm not about to open the door and not know who the fuck is outside. You know what I mean? I hit the camera and saw that it was my father, and I was immediately anxious because I knew that this was gonna happen. And it was just annoying the fact that he freaking rang the doorbell if he's getting his own package. But then I saw that we had a package from Amazon, but I wasn't gonna get it unless he left because I already know this game. He's gonna ring the doorbell. He's gonna sit in the driveway and see if someone's gonna come out so he can yell out and be like, hey, let's talk. Get roped into a 30-40 minute conversation just so he can have attention. And I just didn't want to do it. I wasn't in the mood to talk. I haven't talked to him since like probably August. And so there was really no reason for me to talk to him. I have nothing to talk about with him. I can't talk to him like how I talk to my mom, because honestly, like, he will probably run and tell his side of the family about what I told him, and I just don't trust him. I never trusted him. So whatever I post on the internet is what I want to post. It's not because of him, but honestly, like, I'm tired of seeing him. I'm tired of looking at him. I'm tired of seeing him doing his unscheduled visits. I just wish he wasn't living here anymore, because nobody wants to fix it with him over here. So I don't really know why he chooses to do it, to try to do it with us. And it's not even really trying. It's just him wanting attention. He does these things to get attention because the women that he messes around with aren't giving him attention. So he's like, oh wait, I do have a family here, so let me go bother them. So then he drives an hour down here to try to bother us. It never makes sense to me, because it's just like, if I wanted a relationship with him, I would have been reaching out to him. But I don't reach out to him. I don't talk to him. He keeps saying, like, we should talk. I don't want to talk to him. There's nothing to talk about. And if I do call him, he's just going to make the conversation about him. And he's going to ask the one question, how is school? I'm going to answer it. And then he's going to go talking about himself the rest of the phone call. And then it's just going to be really boring. And it's just like, I can't hear for an hour about me. Fuck you, seriously. Downplay the abuse a lot to people. He likes to act like it didn't happen. And he purposely goes after insecure women. And he purposely goes after single women because he knows that they're vulnerable and he can abuse them. So, if you're a single woman and you're a single mom and you live in my area, just be careful, because he's probably going to be looking out for you. Because that is his niche right now. That's his thing. It's gross, personally. I get so frustrated at my mom because I always used to think that she didn't ask him to do enough around the house, and I feel like she always asked me to do it, you know what I mean? And I used to get on her about it, and I was like, I feel like you keep asking me and you don't ask him enough. And then she's like, I do ask him, you're just never around. And I was like, well, I just didn't know. But it just feels like you're always asking me to do things all the time. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I just feel like he sits around a lot. He doesn't pull in his weight. And for me now, I'm taking care of his dog that he claimed. I'm taking care of my own animals. I just don't think that's fair. He doesn't contribute into her financially. And if you do ask him, like, hey, I need $50 for this, he's going to start scoffing. He's going to start rolling his eyes. But then again, you were the one that wanted her. You were the one that wanted her. So I don't understand why you keep looking at me and being like, well, she got it. She got it. She needs her nails trimmed. And he has not made not one appointment to get her nails trimmed. And I'm thinking that he's going to think that we're going to do it. Actually, my mom actually tried to, like, bring it up to him the other day. And she's like, hey, make sure you have some money aside to take care of Storm. And then he had the nerve to say, you only talk to me when you need something. Whole time it's him that does that to her. I don't even ask for money from her. I barely ask for money from her. But he asks for money from her. A lot. And she gives it to him. So I don't understand why he hates her if she always comes through for her. She comes through for anyone. It just doesn't make sense that he would say something like that. And I could tell that it's like draining my mom more and more every single day. And it's sad to see. Because if you were to tell me at 5 years old, fast forward to 20-something years, and ask me, do you think you guys are all going to be the same and be close together like you always were? I would have been like, hell yeah, of course. Fast forward 20 years. I don't know how else to say it, but there's been a lot of situations where he's really fucked us over. A lot of situations. And you don't see me crying about it and talking about it on the internet every time he does it. You don't see me trying to be a victim every time he does it. I just talk about it with my therapist, or I journal about it, and I'm like, well, hopefully when he graduates, he figures his way. Because I was really debating on like saving money to move into like an apartment because I just couldn't deal with the tension anymore. I thought about that for a long time, and then whenever I talk about moving out to my mom, she gets really sad. But eventually I do want to move out. I don't want to always live under my mom's roof. And plus I feel like the guinea pigs need more room, and they're only saddled with like my room, and my room is very small. So they deserve room. I deserve room. It's just a lot, personally. I'm very tired though, like physically and mentally. And I wish like I had someone to talk to about this, because I feel like that would help to hear people's input. But I don't really talk to a lot of people. And it's kind of bothering me a lot more than usual, because I thought I was gonna have friends in college, but it doesn't work out that way. I don't know. I've just been focused on school and myself, and I don't know. I want to socialize, but then again I don't, because I just know how people are out here. They're just so weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad that I still ran to a camera like I did when I was 17. And I don't think I thought I was going to outgrow it, but I think I thought I was going to have friends eventually, so I didn't have to constantly do this. I will say that I don't do it as much as I used to when it came to like my feelings. I used to do it all the time back in like 2021, because it was like TikTok was my outlet, and my father wasn't following me on there, so I could say anything and everything about how I was feeling. I was always worried about someone that I knew following me and sending it to him, because people are weird. Like, generally people are weird, and they will do that just to stir the pot, because people are bored. Because people have sent my videos to my father, or no, my videos would be sent out to his side of the family because of what I was saying. Just also very weird. Like, I kind of hate that my dad's side of the family knows about my YouTube channel, because I can't really, like, I'm still myself. I don't want to like dumb myself down because they follow me and stuff. But it also sucks, because I just wanted it to be like my own little world. And once he started spreading around that I have a YouTube channel, it was so irritating. And you probably think it's supposed to be supportive. No, like, they only follow me to just judge me. They don't do it in a supportive way. They do it to judge. And that's the annoying part. So that's why I like talk on TikTok, and that's why I have like a what is it called? A podcast channel, so I can hide there, because I don't want them to constantly like hunt me down on all my social medias, because generally I hate when people do that. I'm kind of not into that. Like, I only want a few people doing that, and that's it. So yeah, I watched 2 movies today. I watched Waves for the first time, and I also watched Mid-90s for the first time. I did that because for the past few years, like ever since I started TikTok, people always talked about that movie. Well, those 2 movies actually. I knew about the mid-90s kissing scene. Like, people were talking about it on TikTok, so I was like, oh, when it got to that part, I skipped over it because I already knew about it, you know what I mean? But other than that, like, I think the mid-90s movie was okay. It wasn't like the greatest, because it was still like sad, because they basically just have that skate group just to escape their toxic households, and they use it as a form of escapism. And I wasn't a fan of the parts when Stevie was getting beat up by his brother a lot. Like, that's how it starts. And you're probably thinking like, oh, it's like brotherly stuff. But the thing is, like, there was a huge size difference between Stevie and Ian. Ian was like probably in his 20s at this point. Stevie was 13, and he was like 5 foot something. So he couldn't really like defend himself. And then when he started hanging out with those kids, he started getting drunk a lot. And I think Ian was like trying to tell him like to slow down on the drinking. And he was telling him like, you keep fucking up. Like, why do you keep fucking up? Like, it wasn't always like him. And I think subtly he kept trying to tell him not to hang out with them. but Stevie thought it was like a way of him trying to be like a cock blocker, basically. I don't even know, I don't understand what his role was. He wasn't in school. He wasn't working. He was just hanging around the house drinking juice all day. So I didn't understand what he was doing, like what his purpose was. And his mom, their mom was barely there. I'm surprised like when Stevie got into that car accident, she was there. Because honestly, the majority of the movie, she wasn't even there. And I think Ian was trying to say that she was an absentee parent when he was little. And apparently, the reason why Ian was so aggressive towards him was because he had jealousy towards him. Because the mom paid more attention to him and was more present when he was little instead of when he was little. So that makes sense. But also, he was a grown man at this point, so I feel like he should have gone to therapy or something for this. Waves, that movie was 2 hours long, and it was stressful. First hour, the movie is so effing stressful because it's about Tyler's perspective. And everything about Tyler was so chaotic, and the fact that he was so abusive was so looked past because he did it in secret a lot. Like, no one knew that he was abusive towards his girlfriend. And then when he found out that she was pregnant, he became more aggressive towards her because she wanted to keep it. And I've heard of those stories like so many times in my life where the boyfriends will try to kill their girlfriends over that. And that's what happened in the movie. He ended up killing her because she wanted to keep the baby. And it just kind of was sad. A lot of men do that, especially now. It's one of those movies that you watch once. It's not something that you keep watching over and over again. Because honestly, like, it was low-key triggering. I'm not gonna lie. I knew that it was gonna be like that, but I didn't know to what extent. But I feel like people just really romanticize DV relationships on TikTok a lot. Because they really were trying to make it seem like Alexis and Tyler were like this healthy couple. They weren't. They never were. That whole relationship was nothing but domestic violence. Everything was domestic. And I kind of wanted to see how it was going to be if she had the kid, but we didn't even get that far. Thing having to like overthink and stress over every little thing. Like if y'all don't understand how many times I've thrown up this semester. I've thrown up like 4 or 5 times this semester. I threw up last week because I drank too fast and I was having a lot of anxiety about school. And so I ended up throwing up. And what I've been doing is I've been throwing it at like the park, like my bags of puke at the park trash, because I don't want it stinking up our trash, so I just throw it over there. And I'm not the type of person that throws up in a toilet anymore, because every time I do, I end up peeing myself. So, because I freaking like hurl so, like I throw up so violent that I end up peeing myself like every time. And this is kind of like a new thing. Well, it's been going on for years, but it wasn't like always like that, I don't think, when I was a kid. Or it probably was, and it just wasn't so extreme. But now, like, every time, like, even if I don't have to pee, I end up peeing myself when I do it. And so I get tired of, like, having to, like, change out my clothes and stuff. One of the times I threw up on my shirt. And it was disgusting. So I ended up changing my shirt. And it was so annoying. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, and then one of the times I had food poisoning, and it was because I was eating those Tyson nugget strips thingies, and I ate one, and I immediately felt sick. I had this weird feeling like I wanted to throw up, but I was kind of like delaying it for a really long time because I just wasn't sure. And I was like hoping it was gonna go away on its own, but it didn't. So I even like went outside, walked around, did all the things just to get some air, and I still felt like shit. And then I came home. I ended up throwing up and I felt a lot better. And then there was this other time where I don't really know what happened, but I thought it was because my blood sugar was low, but I think it's because of GERD. So one time I had eaten like candy in the middle of the night, which I'm trying to stop doing that, but that's probably the reason why I was having like cavities, because I would eat candy in the middle of the night and I wouldn't brush my teeth after. That makes a lot of sense, honestly, because I keep trying to figure out why do I keep getting cavities when I do take care of my teeth, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why. But anyways, I ate one. I immediately got this headache and my stomach started hurting really, really bad. And I was like, that's weird. I never had that feeling when I had candy. So I was like, maybe my blood sugar's low, and maybe like my blood, like I think I was hungry, and then when I ate the candy, I feel like it spiked my sugar too fast or something, and it caused like this crash. And so I was like, oh my god, this feels like this is horrible. So then I was pacing around my room for a while. I was like, I don't know what to do about this situation. It's like uncomfortable. I myself threw up, and then I ended up feeling like a lot better. And then I told my mom about it because I was like telling her also that I haven't really been eating that much at school. So she gave me like a piece of her burrito, and it had a jalapeno in it, so it made my stomach hurt again after finding that out. But it wasn't like gnawing, it was just kind of like a little bit annoying, but then it ended up going away. But I think some of it had to do with anxiety though, because it just was like, it's something that I keep having. But when it came to that situation, my mom was like, maybe you have GERD. So drink some baking soda and some water, and it helped a lot. I just did it the other day because my throat was feeling like there was like a lot of acid there. So I was like, let me just drink some, because it helps a lot. It really truly does. And I think people like underestimate it, because for one, it tastes nasty, but it honestly, it helps a lot. If you have GERD, if you have a UTI, it helps a lot. I don't really know if I'm gonna post this video, and this isn't even like my usual setup, but I know that if I did bring out my camera, the quality will look really bad. So there's that. But personally, like, this gives it a more like cozy feel to it. But what I really need to do is invest into a mic, because the mic that I have is just a prop. It doesn't even work. And when I did try using it, it sucked like so bad. Like I hated it. Like it made my audio sound like, it had like this buzzing sound. So I had to hold the cord up so it didn't make that buzzing sound. I used it like 1 or 2 times over like a voiceover. And so it was frustrating, because why do I want to hold the cord for 15-20 minutes? So that's something that I need to get on my list. But I'm so tired. I also been trying to go back to the gym just to have some time to decompress. And I've gone to the gym 3 times already. And I just know when I get on break, like I'm gonna lose that momentum again, because I just don't really like paying for the Ubers there, because it's like $9 in Ubers and I think $7 for Lyft to get up there. But if I do that a couple times a week, it kind of adds up, you know what I mean? And the reason why it's expensive is because it's on like the interstate. So it's like thinking that you're doing all these crazy things just to get there, but you're really not. You don't even really need to take the interstate. But I do like the gym. I just hate the people there. Because people think that they're very entitled. And it's annoying because they forget how to share too. They forget how to share, and it irritates me because I'm just like, bro, why can't you just share with everyone else? Why do you have to keep doing that? Does this make a difference? No, it didn't. Okay. I've been using this for some of my TikToks now. It's not really that good. It's very, very shitty, but it's from the dollar store. But I use this sometimes when I'm lazy. And it doesn't give me a headache because it's not really a real ring light. So I need one of those real good quality ring lights for your phone because I do film a lot of TikToks at night. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but the reason for that is because I will be doing homework and I'm like, oh my God, I need to film this TikTok before I forget. So I film it at night and I'm like, people were probably thinking like, why does she only film at night? But honestly, like, it's just easier for me to remember certain topics. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And plus, like, people say that, like, your videos don't go viral if you have crappy lighting. Like, my video about NFLE back a couple months ago went viral. And it was, like, this lighting. It was pretty crappy. It was in the middle of the night. And I filmed it because I was thinking about that situation. And I was like, I should talk about it. And then I didn't think it was going to get viral. I don't even know if he saw the video, but I don't think he would have cared because at the end of the day, Jaleel is what gives him views. Like, people love to see her freaking, her crash outs about food. Like, people eat that shit up, like, every time. And it's so weird to me because I'm just like, personally, I find it annoying. I find that shit annoying because she's like 8 or 9 years old throwing tantrums about food and then no one ever corrects her. Well, I think Lee tries to correct her, but she just doesn't give a fuck personally. But I try not to like grind my teeth whenever I freaking see their videos because honestly, I just think it's weird that they try to put on this image like they're this Christian happy family, but behind the scenes that he's using those kids that don't even belong to him for content, constantly filming them all the time. And I'm like, why are we filming them? Especially Jaleel. Jaleel is always around. And I also notice that she hovers over food a lot. And she like tries to see what everyone is making. So she'll like kind of like debo the plates. And I'm like, what is going on? And they're like, oh, Jaleel's out here guarding the plates again. And that's what the comments will say. And I'm like, well, they're not wrong. It is weird that she's constantly like hanging around the kitchen all the time. I remember one time where they had a pizza for dinner. And then a couple minutes later, she got caught making ramen noodles. And then Leah was like, we just had pizza. Why are you making ramen? And then she tried to hide it. She tried to hide that she was making food, but it was so obvious that she was making food. So I'm just like, really trying not to get irritated by this child. It's not her fault. It's the parents' fault for not teaching her healthy habits. So those are the things I try to tell myself because I know in my first video, I was mostly targeting Jaleel in that situation. But the reason why I was doing that was because it was kind of coming out of concern and not really like, oh my God, you're fat. Why are you 150 pounds at 8 years old? I was trying to think of it as, obviously she's probably insecure. Obviously she's upset because she's eating her feelings away. Seeing her trying to fit into like the kiddie slides is like the saddest shit ever too. And then also trying to see her do any type of extracurricular activity is sad because she can never keep up. She's always huffing and puffing after like an inch, like 2 seconds of walking. That is not normal for an 8-year-old to be doing that. And I was saying in my video, like, I was like, I don't know, 90 pounds or 70 pounds and around that age. I was very thin for the majority of my life. And so that's what I was using as an example. It probably isn't the best example, but it's something. I thought I was gonna be petite and skinny forever, but girl, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened because actually, yeah, I became like an emotional eater when I started college. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I've been really trying to correct that lately. I've been trying not to eat out of my emotions because it's really not healthy. And I've noticed a difference between when I first started college and to now. Like, for one is this. I really don't like my under chin right here. I don't like how this looks because for the longest time, I had like a really sharp jawline, and then it kind of just started fading away when I started like eating more. And it's not like I'm obese or anything. It's not like my doctors tell me like I'm obese. I'm still in the hundreds. It's just, I don't like where I'm at. I can tell the differences in my weight and how I look, and you guys don't have to tell me because y'all love to tell me that I look fat in videos, and it's not something that is nice to say. Just letting you know, because people on TikTok love telling me that. Oh my god, you look so fat in your videos. Oh my god, you have a double chin. It pisses me off because how is that supposed to make me feel better about myself when people are pointing that out? And on top of that, there was one time where I messed up on this eyebrow, which I do a lot. And this person was like, you and your messed up eyebrows. I don't want to pay for them to get threaded. So this is what I'm doing. I'm plucking them myself. The video here, yeah, but I'm probably gonna try to post it. But it's gonna probably be a lot later because I just posted a video and I still need to focus on school as it's ending. Thank you for watching. I appreciate everyone that watches my podcast episodes. It helps me out a lot personally because I didn't think people would watch them, but I'm noticing that people are watching them and it means a lot to me, honestly. And so you're not going unappreciated. I do see it. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.